Hello students, good afternoon to all of you. I hope you will be fine at home. I welcome you in this lecture of power system instrumentation, and the subject code is EE311 as per our SGV curriculum, and the unit which we are going through is the unit number 5, and the topic which we are going to cover is the power system instrumentation second, that is instrument transformers. Okay. So as per the PSI is very important subject I earlier told you. In the we can say the instrumentation is basically dealing with the measurement of voltage, current, power, energy. So in power system we are using the instrument for the measuring purpose, so that relates basically with the power system instrumentation. Okay, so in power system instrumentation, as per our SGV curriculum, we divide whole syllabus in the 5 units, and we can say the each unit consists of some content, and the topic is basically as per their name, and the subtopic and contents are different. So if I'm talking about the topic name of the unit number 1 is basically the errors. So we discuss so many errors like random, gross, okay, observational, environmental, systematic. All these we having the errors. We discuss a lot about the types of error, the source of errors we have, how can we eliminate this thing. Then we will the accuracy and precision. Now accuracy is there means I am talking about the accuracy means accuracy is basically dealing with the is dealing with the what is dealing with basically the accurate part. Accurate means true value. And if I'm talking about the precision, so precision basically the repeatedness of the reading, repeatability of reading. So if I'm getting the repeatability of reading and if I'm getting the accuracy, so if I'm not getting the accuracy right, means not getting the accurate or true value, so repeatability will be there, that is precision. So we can calculate these precision accuracy, because if I'm having these so many values, so if I'm giving the 9 values and I have to take the average of it, that will become the center value. So if the average is the center value, so we can see the all reading having some deviation with the center value, so that we can easily identify with the readings. We can make a Gaussian curve, a distribution, we can say the frequency distribution curve, or a curve we can make with the help of arrows, that is known as Gaussian curve. So we can also identify the mean also known as the average. Average, how can we count? Like for example, we have 9 different measurement, so just add 9 different measurement and divide by the number of measurements. Okay, now for example, I am having the value like we having 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.8, 4.8, 4.7, 4.6, 4.5. So we have to add all these 4.7 also and divide by the number of 9, measurement 9. So we'll get the average. If the value I'm getting to the average, it means we are at the deviation, we are at the mean. But if I'm getting the deviation from that, so what we can say, it is a deviation. So how can we calculate? We can calculate with the average deviation method, and we can say average is there, then when the standard deviation is there, and the variance. So we can calculate deviation, standard deviation, and variance. So we did numericals also based on this. And MPV is also known as most probable value, is basically the mean value. Is basically what it is, the mean value we have. I hope you understand. Then we in unit number 2 we have studied about the good equipment, or we can say the equipment which basically we use for the conversion. We use for the conversion. Conversion means we want to convert from one form of energy to another form. So we use a transducer known as transducer. It is also known as the intermediate instrument. It's basically the part, component, and element of a circuit which basically convert one form of energy to another. So we discuss so many transducer: active, passive, analog, digital, primary, secondary. On the base of transition, we having inductive, capacitive. Okay, we having photovoltaic, phototransitive, photoconductive. So different type of transducer we have studied, like piezoelectric crystal, for the measurement of displacement, for the measurement of, we can say, the pressure, the strain, the temperature. So we having different type of transducer like linear variable differential transformer transducer, RVDT, strain gauges, thermocouple. Okay, then we having basically the thermistor, thermal resistors, resistance temperature detector, RTD, Hall effect is there. We having we can say what we having capacitance transducer, we have inductive transducer, we have piezoelectric transducer, we have photovoltaic transducer cell, we have. Okay, then we having the potentiometer port is there, potentiometer is there. So different types of transducer we have studied in the unit number 2. Then in unit number 3, if I'm talking about, my dear student, though in unit number 3 basically we have studied about a lot of basically what we can say the signal conditioning. Now if I'm talking about the signal conditioning, my dear student, so in signal condition what we have to do, we have to basically condition the signal. Now how can we condition a signal? So we can easily condition a signal by using what? By using a simple thing, that is we can use an amplifier, we can use a transducer here to convert it for the transaction, because in transducer we having two main parts: sensing element as a sensor and transaction element, which transform from one form to another. That is, we can say, if I'm talking about the electrical, so electrical transducer is there. Okay, so I hope you understand. Now next we having the if I'm talking about the signal condition, though we need amplifier. So the main amplifier is basically the operational amplifier. In operational amplifier, why we are calling as operational amplifier? It is basically a IC741 8-pin structure, and in this 5 pins are in use and 3 pins are not in use and null set. And we can say positive negative voltage, 2 for inverting and non-inverting inputs and 1 for the output. So we can perform several mathematical operations like adder, subtractor, differentiator, integrator, anti-log, log, divider, multiplier, and voltage follower. So many mathematical applications we can do with the help of operational amplifier. So the output gain is very high, input impedance is very high, and output impedance is low. So it having the good amplification characteristic. So this we are going to use in all the amplifiers, you can say. So first we studied about the instrumentational amplifier. It is the combination of 3 op-amp in which one is the differentiator. So we'll get the instrumentation output. Then we have the isolation amplifier. Now isolation amplifier, why we are using, my dear student? Isolation amplifier we are using to isolate the patient body. If I am connecting a measuring instrument with the patient body, so what will happen? The if I want to measure the pulse rate, I want to measure the heartbeat, I want to measure the sugar, I want to measure the blood pressure. So in this case, if I am connecting the instrument with the direct in the direct contact with the body of the patient, so what will happen? The leakage current will flow and give the shock to the patient body. It will give shock to the patient body. So what I have to do, what you have to do, what we all have to do, what company have to do to make a isolation. So for that we use isolation amplifier. Okay, again a combination of operational amplifier. Then we having analog multiplier or divider, that is basically a Gilbert mixture we use it, and we having the local oscillator which basically multiplies the input and giving you the output in the form of some few hertz to the kilo or megahertz. I hope you understand. Then we having the basically subtractor and adder. Then we having the optocoupler. Then we having the frequency generator. You can say the function generator also. So function generator, if I am talking about, my dear student, then function generator basically it gives you the output in the form of waveform. So different waveform, like a different function we have, like for example triangular wave, sinusoidal wave, sine wave is there, and rectangular wave, and we having the sawtooth wave. So three function we can easily make, and we can do with the help of op-amp, operational amplifier in it. That is basically integrator we are using as an integrator. Okay, then we have studied about the basically frequency to voltage converter. Now frequency to voltage converter we can do directly, like in input we having the frequency in the waveform, and output we are getting the voltage corresponding to the input frequency of that waveform we have. So I hope you understand. Then we can make a frequency to voltage converter proposed, in which we having two things: one for the voltage, another one for the frequency path. Voltage, frequency path, and voltage path. So we use integrator in this as a op-amp. Okay, I hope you understand. Then if I'm talking about more about this thing, then basically we have the we can say temperature to current converter. In input we having the temperature, and corresponding to temperature we are getting the current in the output. So input to output, in the form of input we having the we can say the frequency, we can say the temperature, but output we are getting in the form of current. So it is proposed. Then we having the grounding and shielding. So grounding is very necessary, because if leakage current flows and if we give the high impedance pathway, no leakage current will flow out from the instrument, and it will give the shocks, it will give the false or abrupt, or we can see the not desirable readings in the measuring while measuring something and measuring from the instrument. Okay, so I hope you understand about all these things. Okay, then basically we have understood about the another thing, that is basically grounding we can do by the two process. One is the multiple grounding and another is the single grounding. So single point grounding, all 9 instruments, for example we have 9 instruments, so all grounding are connected at a single point of 9 instruments, and in the multiple, all the 9 having a different grounding. So we can do like this. Then we have the shielding. So in shielding is basically a insulating process. We have to isolate the scene. So in each cable we use sheets to make a isolation between it. So copper graded sheets steel cable is very good for us, and the all metals having their conductivity and permeability. So we can use metal for this shielding. Okay, I hope you understand about the unit number 3. Then we having the unit number 4. In unit number 4, these are the measurement. Basically we can say a power system instrumentation part 1, instrumentation number 1. So in this power system instrumentation number 1, we can say one thing is there, that we can, how can we measure the voltage and current. So very easily in measurement, in electric measurement we have understood that with the help of voltmeter we can measure the voltage, or with the ammeter we can measure the current. But voltmeter we connect always in the parallel or across, and ammeter we always connect in a series with the circuit. So ammeter having the infinite resistance and voltmeter having the zero resistance, we can say. So they both having the resistance, and if we are connecting in the circuit, so they basically giving the loading effect, that we are getting the loading effect due to its internal resistance while measuring something. So we having different types of instrument like PMMC for DC, MI for AC. Similar for voltage voltmeter, similar for ammeter. And analog, in analog we having the full scale deflection, pointer, needle, deflecting torque, controlling torque, spring, weight, all of these. But if I am talking about a digital, though we having solid state component like electronic components. We can also measure with the help of multimeter. So these all are we have discussed in the unit number 4, first part. Then we having the we can say the voltage, frequency, phase and time. We can measure with the help of one instrument known as CRO. CRO is basically the cathode ray oscilloscope, and that cathode ray oscilloscope is basically the main part of this cathode ray oscilloscope is CRT. CRT is the cathode ray tube. In this we having the heater. Through this we having the cathode gun. Through this cathode gun we can find a cathode, which basically moves through the anode. Different type of anodes, 2 types of anode we have. Then we having the horizontal deflecting plates. Through this, through the help of these deflecting plates, the iron take place, and we can say iron form a signal on a scope, so that we can see in the output. So with the help of horizontal and vertical axis, we can easily measure the voltage. Through this we can also measure the time. If I am getting the time, so frequency is inversely proportional to the time, we are getting the frequencies, and then difference between two wave we are getting the phase and time. So we can easily measure the 4 quantities: voltage, phase, time and frequency. So it is very easy for us to use a CRO, that is cathode ray oscilloscope, and for the while measuring the 4 quantities, and with the help of Lissajous figure we have. Okay, then we having the active and reactive power measurement. So active and reactive power measurement we can do with the help of electrical energy meter. But if I'm talking about the active, reactive and apparent, so we having the complex power in AC circuit, that is S is equals to P plus JQ. P is representing the base of the triangle. X we can say Q is representing the hypotenuse, basically perpendicular of that triangle, right angle triangle, and we can say S is representing the hypotenuse of that triangle. So S is equals to P plus JQ, where P is basically the power which is dissipated in a resistor in the form of heat, that is we can say the R active power. Then we having the reactive power, which is dissipates in which is basically absorbed by the capacitor or reactor or the capacitor, you can say inductor or the capacitor. So that is represented by the Q, and P is the apparent power, is the phasor sum of active and reactive power. So P is equals to we can say S is equals to under root P square plus K square, Q square, and J representing the angle of 90 degree phase displacement we have. So we can measure these all power with the help of energy meters. Now Let us discuss about the energy meter, because in energy meter, it by we using the energy meter of watt hour meter we have, like analog and digital. So analog we have in different and digital we have in different. Then we have the spatial energy meters, in which we can also measure the part tariff. We can directly calculate the part. Nowadays we are using smart meter and electronic meter in our houses, through which we can place a meter reading and directly get a bill from a person who who will come your house and take the reading. With the help of their mobile, they can directly give you the bill. So tariff, that is that part tariff we have. So that is a special energy meter. Then we have the power system instrumentation second, that is the unit number 5. So in this unit, we are going to study about the instrument transformer, and we studied a little bit about this thing. So in this lecture, what I am going to tell you, my dear student, what I want to tell you, my dear student, in this unit, that is the power system instrumentation second, and the topic which we are going to cover, that is instrument transformers. Now, the objective to deliver this lecture is help the learner to understand the basics of instrument transformers, understand the detailed theory of instrument transformers. Now, what is instrument transformer? So, what is an instrument transformer? It is a transformer that is used in conjunction with any measuring instrument, that is ammeter, voltmeter, wattmeter, watt hour meter, or protective equipment, that is relay, you can say. So it utilizes the current transformation and voltage transformation, similar to our transformer we have. Properties to measure high AC current and voltage we have. Now the instrument transformer. If I am talking about the application of instrument transformers, though, for measurement of high AC current, it is usual to use low range AC ammeter with suitable shunt. For measurement of AC high voltage, low range AC voltmeters are used with high resistance connected in series. For measurement of very high AC current and voltage, we cannot use this method. Instead, we use specially constructed high voltage, that is HV instrument transformer, to insulate the high voltage circuit from the measuring circuit in order to protect the measuring instrument from the burning we have. Now, the application, if I am talking about the instrumentation transformers or instrument transformers in DC circuit for current and voltage measurement, we use low range DC ammeters and voltage and voltmeters for voltage measurement with rectifier. How can we do? With the help of rectifier connected in their secondary circuit to convert AC into DC with the help of this rectifier. Now, the vast primary application of instrument transformer is for the protection and control of power system. The vast primary application of instrument transformer is for the protection and control of power system and power equipment of high and very high ratings. Now, the working of these instrument transformers are similar to those of the ordinary transformer we have. Now, it is looking similar to that one. As per the IEC given, so we can say primary winding is representing by H1, H2. Terminals means starting or ending terminals of primary winding is representing by H1 and H2, and secondary winding terminals represented by X1 and X2. And we having the core and in this the flux. So it is the simple, we can say the circuit diagram, or we can say that it is simply we having the diagram similar to that of our two winding transformer. Now, types of instrument transformers we have. So these instrument transformers are of basically two types, but I am writing three type here. Why? Because capacitive voltage transformer is a part of potential transformer. Capacitive voltage transformer is a part of potential transformer. That is why I write here two types, but it is having three types because capacitive voltage transformer is a part of potential transformer. Now CT. So substation class circuit breaker, it looks like this. Now if I am talking about the CT, so CT is what? CT is the current transformer. And if I am talking about the current transformer, so current transformer is used for the measurement of current. The current in power system or high system, we can say. So if I am talking about the in the power system, if I want to measure the current, so current having the higher value, so we can use CT to measure that current, and its conception is similar to the step-up transformer. In step-up transformer, the primary winding having few turns, but secondary winding have a large turn. So in this CT, we having the 1 turn, basically 1 turn or less 1 turn in the primary winding, and the large number of turns in the secondary winding, and we connect a ammeter to measure the current. Basically it step down the current level for the measuring purpose in ammeter. So here I am showing you a disc type CT here, which can directly fit it in the substation class. I hope you understand. Now next, the CT turn ratio. If I am talking about the CT turn ratio, so CT again having the turns in the transformer conception. So transformation ratio is given by primary current oblique secondary current. primary current oblique secondary current. So we can say the primary current is given by 100 amperes and secondary current is given by the 5 ampere. Okay, why is it so? Because it is step up. So step up means V2 is greater than V1, but I1 is greater than I2. Means I2 is less than I1. So that is why in primary we are getting higher, more current, resistance is less. In secondary current, the resistance is higher and turns is higher, so current we are getting less. So 100 by 5 we are getting 10 is to 5. So 20 is to 1 is the CT ratio. We can easily calculate primary current to the secondary current we have. I hope you understand. So it is look like this here. Next we having polarity. So polarity, if I am talking about the H1 or H1 for the primary and H2 for the primary second, so it is basically given by the IEEE. It is given by the IEEE, that is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, and Institute of Electrotechnical, we having it is IEC. So second polarity is given by X1 or S1, and H1 and H2 is given by the for the primary. So X1 X2 is for the secondary and H1 H2 is for the primary, we can see. Okay, so we can find the direction of the current in this and direction of the primary current we have. So CT ratio is the primary current oblique secondary current. If I am having the primary current is 200 ampere and secondary current is the, we can say 20 ampere, so 200 by 10 basically 20, so 10 is to 1 we have. Okay, so primary current into polarity forces, secondary current out of the polarity. So primary current into the polarity we have, but secondary current is out of the polarity, we can say, because we are stepping down. Now direction of the secondary current is given here, so we can also find the primary current into non-polarity forces downward and secondary current output of the non-polarity. This is inward and in this it is basically the outward. So what we can say here, we can say the primary current into the non-polarity forces, secondary current out of the non-polarity. I hope you understand. Now potential transfers. What is a potential transformer, PT or VT? So PT, or sometimes called VT, is a step down transformer having many turns but few secondary turns. Means many primary turns, maximum or large number of primary turns, means N2 is greater than N1. So V2 is greater than basically N1 is greater than N2. So V1 is greater than V2, but I2 is greater than I1. Okay, so primary turns but few secondary turns we have. So in step down transformer, the voltage decreases and the current increases. Thus voltage can easily measured by using a low range voltmeter instrument. The voltage step down is known as a ratio, known ratio called the voltage ratio. In the previous we having the CT ratio, current transformer ratio. Here we having the voltage ratio is known here. Now conception and working of PT, if I am talking about. So conception, if I am telling about, my dear student, to you that a potential transformer has many primary turns but few number of secondary winding turns. That makes this a step down transformer. That makes this what? A step down transformer. A voltmeter is connected to the secondary winding is usually a voltmeter of 150 volt. How much rating of voltmeter I am connecting? 150 volt. So working or measurement, we can say the primary terminals are connected in parallel across the line to which the voltage is to be measured. So parallelly I am connecting, not series, because I have to measure the voltage. The voltmeter reading gives the transformed value of the voltage across the secondary terminals. The deflection of the voltmeter when divided by the transformer ratio gives the actual voltage across the primary winding, as the line voltage is equal to deflection by transformation ratio. This give you like this, the line voltage is equal to deflection by the transformation ratio. So we can say where transfer ratio we have V2 by V1. We having what? V2 by V1. Now precaution for PT. Since the secondary of PT is connected to the relays, we are doing production and controlling operation and measurement. So three things we are doing with the PT, because in the secondary we connected the relays, we having the measuring instrument. So measurement, production, all these things we have. So relays, their ratings are usually 40 to 100 watts. It is fixed. 40 to 100 watts we have. For safety purpose, the secondary should be completely insulated. For secondary purpose, we can do what? For the safety purpose, secondary should be completely insulated from the high voltage primary and should be in addition grounded. In addition, we can do grounded. Now, capacitive voltage transformer. A capacitive voltage transformer, also known as CCVT, is a transformer used in power systems to step down extra high voltage signals and provide a low voltage signal for metering or for operating a protective relay. for measuring and for the protection. We can see. Now it is look like this: a capacitive voltage transformer in which I am using a inductor and a two capacitor C1 and C2 is connected in the primary side of the transformer as secondary transformer terminals. It is similar to that voltage transformer, my dear student, but in voltage transformer, basically the potential transformer, we doesn't have these capacitors and inductors for the frequency purpose. But in this, we can use for the frequency purpose. So in the primary, we are connecting C1, C2 with the inductor L1, and if I am talking about the secondary, then secondary terminals we connect the voltmeter. Okay. Now capacitive voltage transformer, it does look like this. So almost we having the we can say what we having so many parts in it. What are the parts? Like see, first is the primary terminal, second is the cast aluminum below housing, third is the stainless steel expansion below, fourth is the compression spring, fifth is the insulated voltage connection, sixth is the capacitor elements, seventh is the insulator porcelain or composite, eighth is the voltage divider tap connection, ninth is the cast epoxy bushing, 10th is the HF terminal connection, 11th is the ferro resonance suppression device, 12 is the secondary terminals, 13 is the oil level side glass, 14 is the aluminum terminal box, 15 is the intermediate transformer, 16 is the oil oblique air block, or we can say for the air and oil we having the block at 16, 17 oil sampling device, 18 compositing reactor, and 19 aluminum cover plate. So we can find all the 9 equipments here in this construction. So I hope you understand about the construction we have for the CVT, that is capacitive voltage transformer, or CCVT. Because two capacitor we have. Okay, then these are the 19 components. Now introduction, if I am talking about, so capacitor voltage transformer CVT are used for voltage metering and protection in high voltage network systems. They transform the high voltage into low voltage. Obviously it is step down, adequate to be processed in measuring and production instruments. Second equipment such as relay and recorders we have. Okay, now a voltage transformer VT isolates the measuring instrument from the high voltage of the monitor circuit. VTs are commonly used for metering and protection in the electrical power industry, that is potential transformer or voltage transformer. A voltage transformer comprising a capacitor divider unit and electromagnetic unit so designed and interconnected that the secondary voltage of the electromagnetic unit is subsequently proportional and two in the phase with the primary voltage applied to the capacitor divider unit. So in this we having two capacitor and one inductor. In its most basic form, the device consists of three parts: two capacitors across which the transmission line signal is split, an inductive element to tune the device to the line frequency, and a voltage transformer to isolate and further step down the voltage for metering device or protective relay. So the tuning of the divider to the line frequency makes the overall division ratio less sensitive to the change in the burden of the connected metering or protection devices. Now the device has at least 4 terminals: a terminal for connection to the high voltage signal, a ground terminal, and a 2 secondary terminals which connect to the instrumentation or protective relay. So in practice, capacitor C1 is often constructed as a stack of smaller capacitor connected in the series. This provides a large voltage drop across C1 and a relatively small voltage drop across C2. So as the majority of the voltage drop is on C1, this reduces the required insulation level of the voltage transformer. The voltage across the larger capacitance C2 will be V2 is equals to V into C1 upon C1 plus C2 we have. This makes CVT more economical than the wound voltage transformer under high voltage over, we can say, 100 kilovolt, as the later one requires more winding and the materials we have. Now if anyone asks you that what is the application or what are the applications, why we are using CVT, why we using this capacitive voltage transformer, we are using CVT when we are having the VT. So these are the applications. The CVT is also useful in communication system. The capacitive voltage transformer in combination with the wave traps we can use are used for filtering high frequency communication signals from the power frequency. This forms a carrier communication network throughout the transmission network. Voltage measuring we can do here. They accurately transform the transmission voltage down to usable levels for revenue metering we can say. Friction and control purpose, obviously if I am using the instrument transformer, so the instrument transformer using for the measuring and the protection purpose both, for the both we having. So they accurately transform transmission voltage down to the usable levels for revenue metering. Friction and control purposes we have. Insulation, if I am talking about, so they guarantee the insulation between HV network and the LV circuits, ensuring safety conditions to control room operators. High frequency transmission we have, they basically can be used for power line carrier communication or the power line carrier PLC coupling we have. Transient recovery voltage, if I am talking about this thing, my dear student, when insulated or installed in the close proximity, we can say when this CVT is installing or installed in the close proximity to high voltage oblique extra high voltage circuit breakers. Now CVT on high capacitance enhance circuit breaker short line fall and TRV performance, you can see. Okay, I hope you understand. Now difference between CVT and, now I'm saying that PT, the CVT is a part of PT. So we can say CVT is the extended part of the PT, but PT is the previous one, but CVT is the part of it. We can say the extended part of it. That is why I written 3 here, but basically it is a 2. Okay. So whereas CVT is a capacitive voltage transformer consisting a stack of series connected capacitor, the voltage across the capacitor is used to measure the voltage. It also serves the purpose of power line carrier communication. Now, if I am talking about the potential transformer, my dear student, the potential transformer is an inductive step-down transformer used for measurement of voltage and protection. Okay. Now, CVT is rated for extremely high voltage levels above 230 kilovolt. So, we use the CVT is above 230 kilovolt, where while PT are not designed for such large voltage up to 12 kilovolt. So, for 12 kilovolt, we use this PT, but for 230 kilovolt or above it, we use CVT. Okay, so I hope you understand. Now CVT offer the advantage that then the voltage divider capacitor, we can say the voltage dividing capacitor we have, or the voltage divider capacitor, being itself relatively smaller and lighter. Itself relatively smaller and lighter we have. Configuration makes the transformer iron core much smaller in size. What they are doing basically makes the transformer iron core much smaller in the size and hence more economical versus what it would be a pure, if a pure magnetic transformer would be used. Okay, so core loss is too much high and so it is less economical. So if I am talking about the potential transformer, so core loss is too much high and so it is less economical. But if I am talking about the CVT, so it having the low losses, less losses, so it is behaving like what? It is behaving like, we can say it having the lighter weight, or we can say less weight compared to the PT, that is potential transfer. So also the CVTs can be tuned to the fundamental frequency of the line. Also the capacitor voltage transformer can be tuned to the fundamental frequency of the line, and the capacitance prevents the inductive fireback. And capacitance prevent the inductive fireback, we can say, of the coils in a transformer when a breaker stripped. When a breaker stripped. So PTs can't provide such advantages. We can't have this type of advantages in PT. Now, what is the saturation in current transformer? Now, if I am talking about the current transformer, so saturation is basically the long-term saturation of the CT can be defined as a condition in which the CT is no longer able to reproduce the secondary current in proportion to its primary current. The one thing is there, my dear student, if see, if I'm a person who actually having a habit to eat 4 chapatis in a day, in a night, in a dinner, or in a lunch. If I am eating more than 5, so what will happen? My saturation point is at 4. So if I am eating 5, so what will happen? I get indigestion. I'll get dehydration. Okay, I'll get uh, we can say the indigestion. We can say some more things. Means stomach imbalance we have, stomach imbalance, or we can say the digestion imbalance I get. So similar to that, if saturation occurs in a CT, so what will happen? No relation with the primary and secondary current in proportion to this. So CT ratio does not take place, does not having the basically primary to secondary current. So CT ratio disturbs at that time. I hope you understand. Now next we having the basic principle on which CT reproduce the secondary current is based on well known transformer principle. So in CT we are getting basically the reproduce the secondary current is totally based on the well known we can say transformer principle, that is Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. So where current flowing through the primary winding produces the flux in the core of the transformer, which is normally proportional to the current in the primary. Secondary, we are connected with the primary we have. This flux is the basic reason. This flux is the basic reason for the current in the secondary winding. Now, if the core is not able to reproduce a flux, if the core is not able to reproduce a flux in proportion to the primary current, in proportion to the what? In proportion to the primary current, then the secondary current will not be in proportion to the primary current. Then the secondary current will not be in the proportion to the primary current we have, and hence the measurement of the current being become wrong. The measurement current being become wrong because there is saturation level occurs in the CT. The phenomena of CT core unable to produce the flux in proportion to the primary current is called the saturation of CT or CT core. Saturation of CT current transformer core or saturation means no relation between primary and secondary. We can see. Now reasons of saturation in CT. What are the reasons of saturation or transient we can say in CT? So that represent the transient also. So with constant VA applied in the CT secondary circuit, the CT goes to the saturation. If the primary current is increased beyond the desired value, if the primary current is increased beyond the desired value we have, so we can say the one thing is there, that is the basic reason for the saturation in CT. So with the constant current in the primary and if the burden is increased beyond the designed value, still we will find the same phenomena of CT saturation. We can find the same phenomena for CT saturation. The amount of DC component available in the primary fault. So this is the another form. The amount of DC component available in the primary fault current, etc. Now, effect of saturation on metering and protective current transformer. What is the effect of saturation in metering, on metering and the protective current transformer if I am having this thing? So what is the effect? What effect I am getting of the saturation? So once the CT is saturated, now saturation is I took an example again. I also told you about the thing that I can eat 200 calories in a day. If I'm eating 250 calories, so there will be some indigestion, there will be some stomach ache, there will be some problem in my digestion. Okay, I will find this. So that is the saturation. So if saturation level occurs in the CT, how we will get the saturation? The reasons are with constant VA applied in the CT secondary circuit, CT goes to the saturation. If the primary current is increased beyond the desired value, now desired value we have, for example, the primary current, if it increase, now for example, it is working like a step-up transformer. So primary current having the maximum value, that is 500 ampere. If it goes to 510 ampere, so it is the saturation. So that is due to the design value. So that design value, if we got increased beyond the design value we have. So with constant current in the primary and if the burden is increased beyond the desired design value, still we will find the same phenomenon of CT saturation. Obviously we have. The amount of DC component available in the primary fault current, again we can find the saturation, or we can say there is a saturation or there is a reason of saturation in current transformer we have. Okay, now the effect of saturation on metering and protective current transformer. This basically gives you the effect. If I am having the saturation, so obviously it affects my reading, it affects my all these things. So what are they? Once the CT is saturated, then it will not be able to reproduce the secondary. Once the CT is saturated, the current transformer is saturated. Means, for example, when I basically inhale the 200 calories in a day, if I want to inhale more, so I have got saturated. So once the CT is saturated, then it will not be able to reproduce the secondary current in proportion to its primary current. It is It is obvious. It is obvious that in proportion to its primary current, hence the relay connected to this CT circuit may malfunction. Obviously, it gives false reading indiscriminately and trip the circuit without coordination with other relays. Because if I'm talking about the relay, so relay is a protective instrument or protective device, or we can say sensing element, which senses the fault. Now, what is a relay? Relay is just like a switch. So relay is behaving like this. For example, uh, I am using a relay, which is basically relay, and working on the reading. Working on the reading means, for example, I am having 50 amp. I am using the relay for 50 amp. 50 ampere current relay. I'm using the overcurrent relay or the current relay for 50 ampere. So 50 ampere is the fixed value for that relay. That is the predetermined value, or we can say it is pre value we have. So if the value increases, so what will happen? Relay trips, and relay trips the trip coil of the circuit breaker, and circuit breaker basically break the circuit or open the circuit under the fault condition. Under the fault condition. So what happens if saturation occurs in the CT or current transformer? Though if saturation occurs, though it gives you the false reading, and the relay also getting the false reading, so relay trips the circuit. So we can do what? We are at the abrupt condition. We can say we are at the condition which we cannot held in for the stability, because stability is word came from stable. So system will not be stable at that time. The stability will hamper. Why the stability will hamper? Because the relay trips the coil, basically trips the circuit breaker, or trip the circuit breaker circuit, basically the trip coil of the circuit breaker before the fault occur, or after the fault, we can say. So this will give wrong readings, and due to this, huge loss to cost will take place. Now circuit breaker will work. So circuit breaker break the circuit, open the circuit. If circuit breaker is opening the circuit, my dear student, without any fault, so it gives you the, you can say, the huge loss to cost will take place. I hope you understand. Now what are the remedies we have? It is the duty of the protection design engineer. You can say you and I, because we will get the job of protection design engineer. So to do a CT sizing calculation, so that the CT will not saturate for the worst case. So CT will not saturate for the worst case through the fault. There are number of factors to be considered before a CT is designed. For a CT design, so there are a number of factors to be considered. Okay, for a protection purpose, which included the maximum symmetrical and unsymmetrical short circuit current, and the system reactance to resistance ratio, we can say X by R ratio. The symmetrical and unsymmetrical short circuit current can be calculated by doing a short circuit study. How can we calculate? We can calculate by doing a short circuit study on the system under consideration. On the system under consideration we have. For small systems, manual calculations of the short circuit study is possible. For small systems, manual calculation of the short circuit study is possible. However, for large systems, the application of software is generally required. Otherwise, the calculation become more tedious. So for higher, we can say the complex condition, we use software to do the calculation. Otherwise, it is more tedious for us. So these are the remedies. Now these are the multiple choice question related to this, we can say, the topic. Now what is current transformer? So a transformer used with an AC meter, a transformer used with a DC meter, a transformer used with an AC voltmeter, and transformer used with an DC voltmeter. So my dear student, current transformer is using for current measurement. So obviously I am using ammeter voltmeter. I am using ammeter. Which ammeter? AC, alternating current ammeter. So a transformer used with an AC ammeter, the option is A. Now, what is potential transformer? A transformer which measures the voltage, which measures the potential. So, a transformer used with an DC ammeter, a transformer used with an AC voltmeter, transformer used with an DC ammeter, transformer used with an AC voltmeter. So, my dear student, if I am talking about the potential transformer, so potential transformer actually measures the potential, means voltage. So, if I am talking about the voltage, so the meter for the voltage is voltmeter. So voltmeter I am using not for DC, it is only for AC. So option is B, a transformer used with an AC voltmeter. I hope you understand. Okay. Now CT and PT are used for current transformer and potential transformer used for measuring low current and voltages. Measuring what? Measuring low current and voltages, measuring very low current and voltages, measuring high current and voltages, measuring intermediate currents and voltages. So we are using for kilovolt, kiloampere. So high voltages and high currents we can see. So option is C, measuring high currents and voltages. Now the secondary winding of which of the following transformer is always kept close? So options are current transformer, voltage transformer, power transformer, and we having the step down transformer. So option is E, that is current transformer we have. Now if the supply frequency of a transformer increases, the secondary output voltage of the transformer increases, decreases, remain the same, and any of the above. So we can say that transformer works on same frequency. The option is remain the same. That is option C we have. Now the capacitance voltage transformer can be connected to a high impedance device, low impedance device, relay coil, only B and C. So option is only B and C, means low impedance device and a relay coil. Okay, that is capacitance voltage transformer means CVT, which we talked earlier. In this. Now the primary winding of a CT has a large number of turns, not turns at all, intermediate number of turns, and a few turns. So option is CT, means step up transformer. So few turns at a few primary turns. So option is D. The secondary winding of a CT has a large number of turns, a few turns, no turns at all, intermediate number of turns. So secondary winding of a CT means step up transformer. So secondary winding having large number of turns. So option is A. Turn ratio or ratio for a CT is NP by NS, NS by NP, 1 by NP, or we can say N is equals to NS or B. So option is B, that is NS by NP we have. Okay, the primary winding of a PT has, if I am talking about the primary winding of a PT, that is potential transformer, my dear student. So if I am talking about the potential transformer, so potential transformer is used for the measurement of voltage. I am using potential transformer for the measurement of the voltage or potential. So what I have to do? Which type of construction I have to use? Obviously, I have to use step down construction. So if I am talking about the step down construction, my dear student, so primary winding having large number of turns and secondary winding having the few number of turns, less number of turns. So we can say which type of option we have. So we having the primary winding of a PT has intermediate of number of turns, no turns at all, a large number of turns, a few turns. So option is C, a large number of turns we have. I hope you understand. Now these are the reference books through which I took some material to deliver this lecture. So AK Sahni. In AK Sahni, you can also find the electrical measurement and electronic measurement. And we can say, if I'm talking about the measurement, so this power system instrumentation is basically the enhanced or elaborative part of this electrical or electronic measurement. So we can say this AK Sahni book is very good book. Dhanpat Rai says we can say it is a Bible of measurement by the Indian author, that is AK Sahni. Then we having the electrical measurement and measurements and measuring instrument by Rajesh Prasad Khanna. Rajesh Prasad. So it is again a very good book after the AK Sahni. So these all books are available in our library. You can just refer, you can just read it. You can go and read it. Okay. These books are available in our library, and these are the very good books and the very good reference books we have. Then A.S. Morris. If I'm talking about this book, it is an international author book. So the content is very good. It basically deals with the whole scenario, whole world scenario, you can say. So A.S. Morris is a very good book. The title is Principles of Measurement and Instrumentation, and the publisher is Prentice Hall of India, or Prentice Hall. So we can say Khanna publisher we having the Rajesh Prasad, Dhanpat Rai Sons publisher we having the AK Sahni, and the Prentice Hall we having the A.S. Morris. So these are the very good books having the good content. So this is all about from my side. Thank you for listening, my dear student. I hope you understand about the instrument transformers in a deep, that is current transformer, potential transformer, and capacitive voltage transformer we have. So I hope you understand all these things. So thank you from my side for patience with me. I hope you understand. So thank you, my dear student, for listening.